Hey Flosstube, Olivia B here, back for another video. Thank you for joining me. My last one was shot in Missouri with my friend Maddie. I went to did a whip and finish parade. A huge shout out and thank you to her for taking the time to do that. That was a lot of fun. And big thank you to all of you for your nice comments. I too think she should have her own Flosstube channel, but she says no. Maybe one day we'll convince her, but until then I will totally exploit her for content on my own channel. It is kind of the last week of October, I guess, which is kind of crazy. I have a lot to show you today. Different backdrop. I'm kind of standing next to where I'm usually sitting. I thought I would try this instead. But yeah, I have so much to show you though, so I thought I'd kind of get into it. Kind of starting with what I've done since I last saw you. I went to the Quilter Station retreat in Missouri, and that was a lot of fun. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a couple pictures there. Again, thanks to Maddie for taking pictures. I'm not good at that. I'm kind of more in the moment. I mean, she's in the moment too, but she's better at taking pictures in the moment where I just forget or I end up taking crummy ones. But I had an amazing time. The highlight was getting to hang out with Maddie and our friend Angela. We met Angela at a retreat at the Attic back in 2019, and we hadn't seen her since then. And so the three of us got to reunite for this one, and it was just a lot of fun. It was really great hanging out with them for a few days. Gosh, I got to go to the actual Quilter Station store, which was amazing. I don't have any pictures from there, unfortunately. They said no pictures. I'm not sure why. I think it has something to do with copyright of quilts on the walls or something. I'm not sure, but I think other people have shown it before maybe. But it really is, you know, if you're in that area, and they have cross stitch too, cross stitch and quilting. It's just an amazing shop. I will go into more of that. I have some haul to share with you from there. But I went to Missouri a day early so that I could, let's see, I flew in on, I want to say the retreat was Thursday through Saturday. I flew in on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I hung out with Maddie, and we went to Quilter Station kind of before everyone arrived. I think I'm getting my days right. Anyway, I don't know. We got to go the day before everyone else was shopping there, and that was really nice. I really wish I would have gone in more prepared. I should have gone with like a quilt I wanted to kit or something. I do love my style when it comes to quilting is I'm saying a lot, sorry. Like primitive style and Civil War reproductions. Civil War reproductions really my favorite, and we just don't have shops that carry things like Civil War reproduction fabrics or homespuns or anything like that where I live in the Bay Area. I know there's a Primitive Gatherings in Southern California, but that's not near me. So you know, I wish I would have gone, because now I'm back and I'm like, oh, I should have kitted this or kitted that, because now I don't know how I'm going to find the fabric. I'll have to go by online pictures. So, oh, excuse me, Dusty wants to come in. I better let him in. So, yeah, anyway, while I'm babbling about how unprepared I was to go there, it was still amazing. And, you know, I got home and we went before we went to the retreat, and this retreat, it was a Quilter Station retreat. It's called Cross Stitch Extravaganza, and there were 5 designers there. And, you know, included in the price in the whole event are kits from all 5 designers, which is a lot. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of amazing stuff, but it's a lot of stuff. I would, you know, purchase of 5 kits. That's maybe what I would do in a year. So I, you know, before the retreat, that's not, you know, I know those are coming, but they're not in front of me, so I'm not really thinking about it. So by the time I got home and unpacked like all of those kits and everything, I admit I was a bit relieved that I didn't have like a ton of fabric on top of everything that I purchased. In the end, all the fabric I bought were just 2 random pack orders. So, you know, good and bad. I have plenty of fabric to use, as you can see behind me. So, you know, it's good that I was restrained. But at the same time, I keep coming across things that like, oh, I wish I could go to Quilter Station and pick this out. But great store, and I will show you when I get to my haul a few things I did purchase there. It wasn't hard to buy things. So we did that, and then we Yeah, so the retreat did start Thursday evening. So Thursday morning, I got to see Maddie's house. She lives in Missouri, and she lives. Oh, now that I'm in front of the camera, she's in Liberty, and the retreat was in Independence, and Quilter Station is in Lee's Summit. Yeah, I think I got all that right. But where Maddie lives is just like adorable, and she has this super cute house, and it's growing pumpkins, and that was all amazing. Missouri's a lot different than the Bay Area, two very different places. And so it was really fun seeing the differences and how spread out everything there is compared to how it's kind of condensed here, and how green everything was. It was just like before I even left the airport, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so it was really fun getting to go to her house and seeing all her goods and looking through her linens and all of that. And making that video was a lot of fun. And then, we got to meet up with Angela, and yeah, then the retreat was great. I will say I definitely prefer round tables at retreats. These were like 3-person straight tables. It was like, we call it classroom style. I do a lot of event planning for my work, and I prefer the banquet tables. I think it's just better for talking to people. But it was still great because luckily I was there with friends. So, we got to gab plenty. The designers, they're amazing. It was Kathy Barrick, Liz Matthews, Teresa Kogut, Linda from Chessie Me, and of course Alma Allen from Blackbird Designs. And then Lois from Lady Dot Creates was a surprise guest. So getting to see all of those designers, hearing them, speak, getting their projects, it was amazing. If you know me at all, I'm a huge Kathy Barrick fan. So that was just an amazing moment for me getting to meet her. As predicted, I did not play it cool. I saw her in the lobby first, and I went in for a hug. And then when she pulled away, I went in for another hug. I don't know why I did that. And then when she was done generously giving me all the hugs, she was like, and who are you? And I was like, yeah, you just gave me all those hugs. You didn't even know who I was. That was so nice. But yeah, she's an amazing woman. I got to meet, talk to her. I totally brought my Quaker dwelling to show her, and I asked her for advice on framing, and she gave me she had a frame that she suggested because she'd had it on one of her models there, and she told me that she frames all of her stuff at Michael's, which is really cool. So that feels very accessible to me. So I'm going to go to Michael's and get a frame for Quaker dwelling. She's just amazing. What can I say? I'm totally geeked out. And then I also got to see Liz Matthews there, who is also wonderful and I find very inspiring. She's just so full of energy and enthusiasm, and I just feel like she's bringing so much new perspective to this whole cross-stitch world. And it's just great to see her work. And then, they're like Kathy and Liz, Linda, Teresa, they were there the whole time, talking to people, mingling, like being just lovely ladies, and that was super nice too. And yeah, so I was there for 5 nights, so it was a full-on trip for me. It was really great. I got to meet some great people, some great new people that I hadn't met before, like Minnesota. I just call them Minnesota as a group. These lovely ladies. They had a table in the lobby at the hotel, and I got to stitch with them in the evenings. Robin and Kathy and Marie and Mary Kay and Chris. If any of you see this, thank you so much for hanging out with me and making me laugh. And that was lovely. That was a lot of fun. It was one of the highlights of my trip. Kathy was a very generous lady. She gave me this adorable little tomato pincushion with some tatting on it that her mom made. And since I've gotten home, she has sent me 2 charts from the Primitive Needle. She had extra copies of these, and Kathy, I will treasure these. I cannot wait to stitch them, and thank you so much for your generosity. And I'm just so glad I got to meet all of those ladies. I got to see some great floss tubers too, ones I would consider friends, like Marlene. I feel like I've known Marlene a long time. This is the first time I finally got to meet her in person. She's stitching by the lake on Flosstube. Carol, I got to kind of accost Carol with quilting questions. Same with Liz from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. It was just great to, that Sable Stitchers, just a lot of, people that I have watched on Flosstube, and I got to say hi to some of them in person. So that was really nice. I think that kind of sums up what I want to say about Quilter Station Retreat. I feel like all the projects have been shown by now multiple times. So, you know, you've probably seen those. And if not, I put my friend Maddie's handle on Instagram on here, and she took great pictures, so you can check them out over there. And I will show you I think I'll just show you now what I got at Quilter Station. That'll help divide things up a bit, right? Wait, no, I'm going to show that in haul because then I can do the haul call. What I will show you is that Maddie made me this adorable pincushion. Strawberries and birds are like two of my favorite things in cross stitch. So this is so cute. I love it. And then she gave me 2 project bags that are beautiful for my dark October stitching. Isn't that gorgeous? God, I love the mustard. She did so well. She is now quilting. She kitted up a quilt when we were at Quilter Station. The, what is it? It's so beautiful. It's Cut the Cheddar by Jo Morton. Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts made it. That's what Maddie's doing for her first quilt, okay? I am intimidated by that quilt, and she's just jumping right in and doing amazing, going block by block. And this is the other bag she made me. Isn't that adorable? So well done. Thank you so much, Maddie. I love these so much. And now that I've shown them, I can put my Halloween projects in them. So those are beautiful. Angela also gave me some wonderful treats. This is one of them. I have this really cool pull, but I think I left it in my autumn. Anyway, it's somewhere, but cute. This really nice needle book. I love this. Now I can use these things now I'm showing you guys. These adorable Halloween tins. Some black HDF in here. Ooh la la. So yeah, that was so sweet. So much appreciated, and that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, on the way home, I caught COVID. I had gotten this far without getting it, and I did wear a mask both ways on all my flights, or you know, all the flights and everything. But there was only a few people on the plane and at the airport wearing masks. Everyone else was maskless, so I think it only goes so far if you're wearing a mask if no one else is. So that was a bummer. Came back, had COVID. It wasn't horrible, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm grateful for that. I'm vaccinated. I'm boosted, so I think that helped. And it was like a head cold, basically. So sore throat, congested, cough, all that good stuff. But it did pass. I quarantined for like over 10 days. And yeah, so that kind of came and went, and I was able, we were able to keep Glenn from getting it. He picked me up from the airport with a mask on because we both were pretty confident I was going to catch it. So, you know, it's done. It moved on. Anyway, so that's all a bunch of stuff since I've seen you. Oh, and we just had a garage sale last weekend. That was like a huge to-do. We had been collecting stuff for a garage sale for months and months and putting it off, and we finally were like, okay, this needs to happen now. And it happened, and we got rid of a ton of stuff. I am someone who, like, it's very hard for me to put stuff in the landfill, you know, outside of the daily garbage. I don't want to just drop off a bunch of garbage at like a donation center, you know. So I have to feel like this stuff is going to go into homes. And so I do feel like in that regard, it was successful. You know, we had the sale for like 5 hours. And then after that, we were like, everything's free. And I got rid of a lot of stuff that way. And so I felt like, okay, people are actually taking this stuff home and doing something with it. So all in all, I feel like it was successful. We got our garage back. And yeah, so that took up a good chunk of our free time, but it's done now. So I'm going to finally go into my actual stitching now. Let's do that. When I left you the last video was at the end of August. So let's see. Oh, I will say when I went to the retreat, I don't start any of the projects. The retreat. This is the second time I've been to a retreat where there were projects involved. I've been to 2 retreats that were without designers, which I love. Like, if you get the opportunity for that, I think that might be my favorite kind. The retreats with designers, for me, that's like it's a pretty big investment. And so I really need to know like all the designers that I'm fully in, and like I really love what, you know, I really stitch their projects and I love what they design, and that was the case with this one. But it is more of a much more special occasion for me, at least at this point in my life, and you know, money wise, time wise, all of that. But you can really go to some great retreats that you don't have to invest all that money, and you can just go and sit with friends and stitch and gab the whole time. Those are a lot of fun. Anyway, to get down the road. Saying that because I've realized like it's not smart for me to try to start the projects that I'm given at retreats, because I will mess up, or I will make decisions based on what I have available rather than, you know, ultimately what I think is best for that project. So I didn't start anything. The project I worked on while traveling and while at the retreat was Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. Let me find that. Okay. I actually made myself this bag before I went on retreat. And I like how he turned out. He's very handsome. I ended up making a few for my shop, but they are sold. Which was nice. So thank you if you purchased one. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to go in and out of screen a little bit here. I've got stuff around me. And I'll probably, in some cases, just edit. This is Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain by Kathy Barrick. Gorgeous. I love working on this. I am stitching mine on 40 count vintage wood smoke from Lakeside Linens. The fabric choice is from my friend Kelly from the Evergreen Needle. She stitched it on this. And here's where I'm at. And I worked on these horses or maybe donkeys. I don't know. And then I worked on this barn. So first I started to get some of the structure in there because I wanted to fill in. And then I just went around and filled in, so much so that I filled in the inside of the windows that I wasn't supposed to. So now I'm working on fixing that. But I'm stitching this in my own conversion to overdyed cottons. And it's a lot of fun. So there you go. Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. And then I had a bunch of, well, several new starts since I've last seen you. Last time I did a video, I showed you a bunch of kind of autumnal type charts that I would love to start or stitch one day, and I started one of them. Let's see which bag. Oh, it's in one of my bags. I love this witchy with her snake. So I started 4 and 20 Blackbirds. This is from Stacy Nash, and it's kind of hard to see from that picture, but I'm almost done. I think I'll finish it tonight or tomorrow, so you can see what it looks like. It is stitched in 2 DMCs, but when I pulled the colors, they were lighter than I was hoping for, so I converted them to 2 darker shades of DMC. I've got this on an adorable acorn. Amy Jepson gave me this from Not Forgotten Farm. It's really cute. Anyway, it's like 2 colors. I did like a very dark brown and a dark brown gray. So. And I'm stitching this on a 40 count extra designs called Gold Sand. And here's where I am. And I just have to add some birds down here and a little lock. And I plan on darkening this up a bunch with walnut crystals. So hopefully I'll have that to show you in the next video. So yeah, so that's kind of my fall. I worked on that quite a bit in September. Okay, and then let's see what happened. Expo happened, and I can't remember if it had. Oh, I don't think it happened in my last video, but maybe the releases had been announced or something, because I thought Kathy Barrick and Liz Matthews just killed it. And which one did I start first? So I ordered, sorry guys, not all my thoughts are organized. Anyways, what I'll say is the next one I started, the next new start I had, and I think this was, yes, this was after. So I came back from retreat. I had purchased their new releases at retreat, the ones that I wanted. And then I had COVID and I was stuck at home quarantining, and I started a couple Kathy Barricks. So The first one I started is in this project bag, which is black, team black. Um, and this is Wildflowers from Kathy Barrick. And I think that's just beautiful. And sorry for the shine. There you go. And it is on this gorgeous fabric from Fox and Rabbit called Seaweed. And I was able to find a piece of, so I was able to see it at my LNS Needle in a Haystack. She had it in 32 count. And I was able to look at it and see it. And I was like, I definitely don't have anything like that in my stash. And it definitely needs to be stitched on that color. So I ordered a piece of 40 count. I was able to find it at Sassy Jack's. And then I also, at my LNS, I purchased the called for flosses, which are gorgeous. They're Gloriana and MPI, not a ton. Really pretty colors. And so they're soft colors outlined in black. So I started the black outlining. And I've done a little over a quarter. And I think it's going to be so much fun to fill in. So yeah, I've just kind of been doing that like a coloring book. And I have a whole fat quarter because a chart I'll show you in my haul later, also by Kathy Barrick from Expo, which is Witch Training Academy, is also on this fabric. And then a project that we received from her at the retreat, there's 2 colorways and one of them is on this fabric. So hopefully I can fit all 3 on this. But I'm excited to go back to that. That is so much fun. And then I started a salve with my friend Trisha, I'm sure you know as Preb on Instagram. We started, well no, this wasn't a expo release, this was a market release. And this is Bluebird in a Cherry Tree by Kathy Barrick. Isn't that cute? And I have the called for fabric, kind of. I have, it's Silver Fox from Fiber on a Whim, 40 count, and I have that except mine's an even weave instead of a linen, so it might be a little lighter. And again, I purchased the called for MPIs. If you are, I find it, I'm really just in love with MPI, I'll be honest with you. I love stitching with this. It's just such a pleasurable experience. And I just want to mention, like, I'm able to kind of make it more affordable because I have fewer whips. So no problem with a large amount of whips. I've been up to 40, but these days I'm under 10, usually under 8. And I find that having a smaller amount lets me like get more of the materials that I want to get for my projects, because I don't have, say 50 kitted projects going on. So if you're ever interested, that's, in getting some silks for your projects or anything like that, that could be one method you use. If I buy silks for a project, then I know I'm going to stitch that project. It's not something I'll just casually buy a ton of. So I've really been enjoying it, and I'm using them on this project. That's where I am. So while Trisha was, traipsing around Denmark, I was stitching on this adorable bird, and I love him. Though I still wouldn't have minded being in Denmark with her. And so I have got my tree outlined there, and now there's gonna be a bunch of cherries and leaves all around it. And I just think he's so cute, and I love his big eyeball. Kathy Barrick on this chart. Did I show you the pattern? I did. Oops, it fell. Anyway, she changed the colors on the pincushion version to a deeper red for the cherries and a more like, I guess, a deeper green for the leaves, and I went with those colors. And then I just wanted to say 721 is that color, because I think it's misprinted on the chart, at least the original market released. So just a note if you're looking for that information. Yeah, Bluebird and a Cherry Tree. After that, then it was October. Dark October stitching, the best month of all. Every October, we do hashtag Dark October Stitching on Instagram, and that is led by the dark and wonderful Cozy Egg Michelle from Cozy Egg, and Emily C. of Eclectic Possessions. That's a sal they've been doing for years and years, and I always participate, and I always love it. And last year they had like a Dark October seance at the end of the month, and they're doing it again this year, and I'm so excited. So thank you so much, ladies, for hosting that. So I decided for this year for Dark October stitching, I would work on pincushions. I think I showed this to you last time. No, it was Instagram. From this booklet, this is called Merry Halloween. It's from Stacy Nash, and there are 4 pincushions in this, and I have now finished the stitching on all of them and prepared them for filling for pincushions. So let me just go through them real quick here, or as quick as I can. So this is the Dreaming of Halloween pin keep. I stitched, these are all DMC. I stitched this, but I left off the Dreaming of Halloween words at the bottom. And here is my witch, and I just need to fill her up, but I've got her sewn. I just put the same homespun on the back of all of them. I did give her a little hair, but it's light, so you can't totally tell. Okay, always saying The next one is Read Your Doom pin keep. And here's that one. This one took the longest because it has you change the colors a lot, but I love the effect. So, come mortal man and cast an eye, come read your doom, prepare to die. That's actually taken from an old tombstone, she said, which is pretty dark, and I love it. Okay, and then next up, Eliza Ann pin keep. This one's dedicated to Elizabeth Ann. Elizabeth Ann can stitch. She was very wicked. I love this. I think she said that was also taken from an old tombstone. Same with this, which she called a bat. But yeah, love that. And then the last one, quickest to stitch, will probably take the longest to stuff, is the Old Black Boot pin keep. I think that'll be really cute though once it's stuffed. So yeah, so that was my Dark October stitching. I stitched those 4, and then I went back to my 4 and 20 blackbirds, which I'm about to finish up. And yeah, and I would love to, I was thinking, you know, I probably won't start anything for a while because I'm really loving my whips, and like I find myself wanting to go back to all of them. I think I have maybe 7. Then I remembered I'm in an ornament exchange. I think we pulled a very small one. I think we pulled names in like December last year. So I've had 8 months and I have not started anything. So that will be my next start, but I won't be able to show that. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that stuff. Speaking of Dark October, I received the most beautiful pins I've ever owned. These are from So Pretty Pins. You can get them on 1884 Stitchery. That's the only place right now. And I have to show them to you because they are totally upping my pincushion game. So I think I showed you this pincushion last time. This is Scary 2 by Plum Street Samplers. And let's check out these adorable acorn pins. And this little pin with the buttons and the ribbon. Oh my gosh. I love them. And then the other set, they come in like super cute packaging. They come in sets of 3, and just so many fall and Halloween and everything. And so the other one is these. I love them. I'm considering removing these when to like maybe something with Blackbird, because I feel like they'd be good with like Blackbird designs. So yeah, I love those. So that's exciting. Okay. I'm going to pause real quick and let's see. What do I want to go to next? I think I'm going to go to haul next. So if you're wearing headphones and you're new here, you might want to down the volume because I get a little loud when I intro my haul. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I do believe it is time to show you my haul. We went to Quilter Station, Maddie and I, as I mentioned. I didn't know what to buy as far as fabric went, and that's okay. Made peace with that, mostly. But I do always know what to buy when it comes to cross stitch, right? That's my safety. So they had a cross stitch section there, and I purchased one piece of fabric. This is Fox and Rabbit and Fossil. It's a 40 count. I will show it to you. It's a very pretty gray color. It's always hard to show fabric, but yeah, very pretty gray. So I look forward to using that. I'm loving the seaweed. I can see more of that in my future too. So I purchased that. This is a Brenda Gervais pattern I've always wanted, but never bought. Where the Bittersweet Blooms. I think that's beautiful. Dusty's back. I then purchased a couple of smaller quilt patterns. This is a Blackbird Designs pattern called Fresh Bloom. This, you know, are not my colors, but I love their applique patterns, and so given the opportunity to buy one at regular price, I will do so. And it has, you can't really tell with these, all the light colors together, but it's baskets of flowers with birds, and I think it's pretty. And then I fell in love with this. This is Flowers for Madeline. This is by Lori Smith. And look at those colors. Now those are my colors. That is gorgeous. And I definitely want to make that one day. It's a lot of leaves and a lot of berries, but beautiful. And then my large purchase while I was there was a kit, and it is called Flower Patch by Emily's Country Cottage. And you can only see so much from the picture, but they had a model there, and it's basically little squares of fabric and then the wool applique of these little flower pots. And it's a full kit, so it comes with the wool. Oh yeah. And cotton and the threads you need. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. I'm not going to take it all apart, but I will make that. Very excited about that. They had just, you know, tons of beautiful stuff, like I said. And they had designed, Rita, who owns it, I'm forgetting her last name off the top of my head, forgive me, but she's designed a lot of beautiful quilts over the years, and she has those hanging up in her shop, and they have kits for them. And I think it was a Carol, I think, purchased one of the ones I was very close to purchasing it. Now I can't remember if it was Carol or Lori. No, Lori wasn't there. Lori's just there in my heart. Carol was there, so she's the one that bought it, and it's this huge house, and it's like these long strips. And I know that if I made it, it would be like this wonky, curved house, but I don't care. But I didn't buy it just because if I buy a kit, I need to make it. Like, I'm still at that point, you know? I know it's a slippery slope, but like, right now I'm trying only to buy a kit if I know that I'm going to make this. And I didn't want to sign myself up for too much, you know, or else it's just going to sit there judging me. So anyway, those are my purchases from Quilter Station in those those two fat quarters I showed you. And again, I wish I had Maddie here for a follow-up video because she kitted up her quilt and she's really spent some time and chose some beautiful fabrics. I had planned on going back, but you know, I knew like lots of people were coming in, so it would be more crowded, and I'm not like a good, I almost want to call it competitive shopper, but it's not like a competition, but like, you know, when you're just in a store full of other people, like I'm not good at like kind of getting in there and getting the stuff. I'm more like, I don't want to be in anyone's way, you know? So I didn't go back. And then I was, you know, both Angela and Maddie were willing to drive me back on the last day of the retreat, but by then I was so exhausted and I had so much stuff and I was like, I'll be okay. Oh, I forgot one thing. Hold, please. Oh, I know I brought it in here somewhere. One second. This is a book that I've been looking for on eBay, but it always goes for more than I want to pay, and it's called Miss Jump's Quilt Album by Linda Barrick. And they had it there on a rack. They had a few copies, and it was half off. So that was so exciting. There are some really cool primitive style quilts in this book. I completely credit Carol from Saltbox Stitcher for like my new obsession with primitive style quilts. Like, look at this. This is like, to me, that's like if you watch Carol's quilt videos, stuff like that, like I never see stuff like this where I live, and I think it's beautiful. Totally obsessed. So yeah, just a thank you to Carol for taking the time, her and her husband for showing those kinds of things, because it's really like, you know, showing me just so much exciting stuff that I never would have seen. And also people like Tammy from Basket Nut on Instagram, like I told her she's prim queen. It's just so inspiring. Anyway, the quilt that I really want to make that is most urgent on my list is this is called Late Night in the Pumpkin Patch. And I love that. I think that's so fun. And this is a perfect example of like, this is the kind of thing I wish I had taken into Quilter Station ready to kit up, because I don't know where I'm in it. I don't, like I said, there's nowhere around here that sells homespun that I can see in person. I mean, you understand, like, you cross-stitchers, those of you cross-stitchers who don't have an LNS, it's like, you know, you can look online and get a good idea, but something like this, it's like to buy 2 or 3 yards of a fabric and you're just taking that risk, you know. But anyway, not going to worry about that. I have the book, and eventually one day I'll come across the fabric, or figure out a good way to try out, you know. I know some fabric designers will still come out with like homespun lines. And so one thing I was thinking is I could, if I got like a mini charm pack or a charm pack from those lines, and then I could see the fabric without taking a huge financial risk and pick out from there. So, so yeah, that just really exciting book. And there was a half price books across the street from our hotel. And I love a used bookstore. And say Crystal from Fiber Arts, if you're seeing this, you understand I had to go to that store immediately. Anyway, I also got a copy of We Gather Together from Jan Paddock. I love, these are also predictable. Pumpkin patch, I love this. More crows in a pumpkin patch. It's so cool. And then where's the other? Oh man, there's several. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it in time. Anyway, I'll just have to make it and show you. But there's some fun stuff with pumpkins and turkeys and all that good stuff in here. So that was that. We did take a break at some point and went to another local cross stitch shop. And now I'm forgetting the exact name, but I'm pretty sure it was Cece's cross stitch shop. I bought 2 charts there. This one is by Rosie and me, called Haunted Inn. I thought that was really cute. And I believe Rosie and me is either the owner of the shop or someone who works there. And they had all their charts. And the other one is an old Cinnamon Heart Needleworks called Christmas Moon. I just thought it was super pretty. So I got those. And then lastly, the last part of my shopping there was the trunk shows. So I'd never been somewhere with trunk shows. And so the designers had different models on display. A lot of it was like their Needlework Expo releases. So they had the models there and then the charts there for you to buy them. And that was amazing. Yeah, I mean, you've heard people talk before about when you see the models. So there's this Chessie Me when I purchased was Bird and Bee Pin Pillow. And I swear I had this on my wish list a long time ago and I couldn't find it. So I wonder if this was like a re-release or something, but maybe I'm getting a different one mixed up, but I love this. Of course, Autumn Cloche from Hello from Liz Matthews. I mean, come on. She just knocked it out of the park. That is an amazing design. This is an older one from Kathy Barrick, but I didn't have it. It's called Fiona and Edward. I mean, there's many I don't have. She designed a lot of charts. But I always love this, and that's beautiful. Bright red. Once I saw the model of this one, I wanted it. This is White Winter Moth. I didn't realize that these are dark teals, much like in Quaker Dwelling. And so once I saw that in person, I was like, oh, perfect. And then, of course, it's great that I still have, you know, some of those. I have a leftover floss for my project, and so it's got some of the same colors. And then finally, Witch Training Academy. And so I have the fabric for that. And then I also, I purchased Wildflowers, which I am stitching. So that wraps up my haul. Obviously after that, I came home, didn't really need to buy anything else. Yeah, so that's it for haul. Now I'm going to go into my, my sewing and quilting. So if you're only here for cross stitch, I do believe I am done with cross stitch, so I'm going to move on. I've kind of worked on a variety of stuff. I made a bunch of project bags for my shop, Hillside Rookery on Etsy, and I had a lot of fun making fall bags, of course. I spent months. I went a little overboard with the hand applique, and you can't it's just fun, like, right? Like, I mean, if I wasn't charging for my work by the hour, or else I'd have bags that like no one would want to spend that much money on a project bag. So it was just fun. I did a lot of crows, pumpkins, I really loved the witch boots and witch socks. I have an Instagram account. It's Hillside Rookery. If you want to follow me there, awesome. But you can, if you know have any interest in project bags, I show them there, and maybe you make them and you want some fun ideas. But big thank you to anyone who has bought them. I love doing that. I love making them. I love packaging them and shipping them out, and the whole process. Love it. But anyway, that has taken up a good amount of my sewing time. There's like a lot of quilts I want to make, but sometimes I sit down, I think, okay, I have sewing time, and that's what I want to make is project bags. I don't know. It's just something about the size of the project. You know, it's not a huge quilt. And also, like, in my house, I'm not going to get to hang quilts up on the walls probably. And I'm the only one really appreciates them in my house. So there's something about getting to send out that finished product to like someone who appreciates it. I think that's also in the back of my head. That being said, I still plan on making 500 quilts in my lifetime and just stacking them around me until I get smothered by them. So that's long-term plans though. I am going to be very slowly making this quilt from the Welcome Home book by Cheryl Wall. There's several quilts in here, but the main one that is on the cover, let me find you a better picture. That's this one right here. Oh my God, I love it. It's busy and it's cozy and I love it. And I finished the first block. So it is, you know, this is a slow going one. I had never worked with homespun before. Thank you to Carol for giving me some tips. And you know, it's a big block, and yeah, again, very busy, but I kind of love it. I love it. For some reason the busyness is cozy to me, and so I'm just mixing a ton of different homespuns. I went to an estate sale, and the woman had like a few bins, not big bins, smaller bins, but you know, they just said plaids, and I opened them up and there are these lovely homespuns, and I'm like, perfect. Like I said, I can't buy them at the store here, so took them home, and I've been using them on this quilt. So that's been fun. Always with the Nicole from Nicole's Needlework inspired I know more than just me to pick up our EPP again, our English paper piecing. And so I have 3 of these big flowers so far. I don't know what they will be one day. You know, it always starts as a quilt, and then in the end it's like a placemat, you know. I've made one table runner that was supposed to be a quilt. But for now I'm just making them. I have these are 1-inch hexies. I have a paper punch that I bought at, you know, Michael's or Joann's once, and they're from Fiskars if you're looking for one. Fiskars has a 1-inch hexagon paper punch. You can use it on your, you know, any cardstock, or you could use it on like even junk mail cardstock. And so I can make limitless hexies. So that's what I like to do, the 1-inch. But I also at one point bought a package of 3/4 inch. I think it was when I first was learning EPP, and those are really cute, I have to say. I think someone commented, was it on one of my videos, that they made an entire quilt using the 3/4 inch. Like, that would be so adorable. I don't know if I'd ever be able to go do that, but I'd make something else out of them. Anyway, so those are fun. That's something I can do like on my BART rapid transit, like to work on my commute, or something I can do if I'm a passenger in the car when I'm not driving. And so that's just something I have going. And who knows what it'll be. Liz from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch is working on her second quilt along. The first one was quarter square triangles, and I wanted to do it, but I had so much going on at the time that I never even got started, and then it was over. But I still might do that one day. And then she started this new one that is it's hashtag Scrappy Trip, QAL. It is this method of making a trip around the world quilt that is scrappy. And it just totally intrigued me because I've always wanted to trip around the world. And Liz picks these projects that are just very, I feel like they're friendly for all stages. And then she makes these videos that are just simple videos showing herself doing them. And she includes even when there's like mess ups or mistakes or something goes wrong. And it's just very helpful. And so when she started this one, I was like, I definitely want to do that. And she's following a method that uses 2 jelly rolls. So that makes the cutting even easier. So I owned 2 jelly rolls. They were both from French General, but they're different lines. So I went through them, and this took me a while because I'm not confident with my fabric selections. But between those 2 jelly rolls and a little bit of like yardage, fat quarters, whatever, I came up with my palette. And so it's basically reds and greens with like light, like tans and creams. It's very Lori from Textilist. You need to watch her whip parades, quilt whip parades if you haven't and you like quilts. And so I will say inspired by those 2 ladies. And I have 1 block. I've been so busy and I just so badly want to work on this, but I only have 1 block. So I've got all my strips in their like stacks for each block. I so badly want to go through and make them. It's just, keep having to work for that paycheck and it's annoying. Anyway, I made 1 and it was a lot of fun. And I'm excited to make more because they come out looking so cool and it's pretty simple. I love these kinds of projects because they're not overwhelming. They're not too tricky. I'm just not at a stage in quilting right now where I want something where I have to like sit there and work really hard to try to get it right. I want there to be a little leeway. Like if things don't match up perfectly, I need that to be okay. Because perfection I'll never finish anything. And I almost don't want to start if it has to be perfect. So this is working out great. It's great practice for me on my points matching up, getting my seam allowance right, which is always a challenge for me. And these aren't perfect. Like when I put a ruler on top of this, it's not everything is falling where it should. So, I guess one thing I do find tricky with sewing pre-cuts like that together is a little, what do you call them? Little edges, pinking, whatever. Like knowing exactly where that's supposed to lay when I'm doing my sewing, but figuring it out. And so that's a lot of fun. So thank you to Liz for hosting that. Before I left for the retreat, it was like I was leaving on a Tuesday and I took that week off from work, but the weekend before was Memorial Day weekend and I didn't have any plans. And so I just kind of went nuts with sewing stuff for myself, which is really fun. I made that project bag I showed you. And then I made a project bag for my EPP. And this is a new pattern that I hadn't used before. Well, in the pattern, this is just 1 fabric. I ended up piecing it with scraps from this really pretty piece of fabric I'd come across in a estate sale. It's from 3 Sisters. I think it was called Memoirs. But it's hard to find now. And there was a piece in there, so I kind of fussy cut some of the stuff out from there, along with random fabrics from my stash. And this pattern is from So Talk Handmade. You can find her on Etsy. She sells patterns that are very well done. And she also has YouTube videos to help you with them if you need the help. So it's got the boxed bottom. So that was fun. So I made that. And then I just, I have my EPP stuff in here. I also went and sewed, I was on a rampage, a little Lori Holt needle book. And so I made that. And then I decided I wanted a tote bag. And I purchased another pattern from So Talk Handmade. And it's called the Chubby Tote Bag. And it gives you 4 different sizes. There's small, medium, large, and extra large. And I did the large. And then I added some applique. So this is the Blackbird Designs fabric that was in their latest line, but only sold at Quilter Station. And then the reds are French General fabrics. And then I appliqued birds. So it's a large tote. I brought this to retreat. And right now it's holding like the kits I got for our projects. And I was able to carry my stuff around, when I went to the retreat and get all the goodies and all of that. So I love this. I wish I had more of this fabric. If you ended up buying like a bunch of this fabric and then later had that feeling of like, why did I buy that much? I don't need that much. Let me know. I will happily pay you your whatever you paid for it if you want to unload it. But if you want to hoard it, I completely understand that as well, because that's what I would do too. So I might eventually make totes for my Etsy shop because they were fun. And sometimes it's fun to sew something that doesn't need a zipper. But yeah, that'll be later down the line. So that was what I sewed for myself, and I think that's all the projects I've worked on in quilting. I think that's everything actually. I am, yeah, just crafting when I can. You know, life is picked up again, but I still have plenty of free time to work on crafting, but you know, it never feels like enough time. But it's been fun. I'm looking at maybe expanding my shop a little bit. So if that interests you, again, check it out on Instagram and Etsy. But if that doesn't interest you, I don't want to talk about it too much and make anyone feel like they're being sold to. I'm just talking about it because I'm excited about it. I'm having fun learning about it. I'm working on getting my business license. And I would like to kind of grow it into maybe like a little curated shop for cross stitch, and maybe some hand applique tools in the future. Since I started selling the bags and everything, I've been saving the profits from the bags in like a little business account, and so I'm going to use that to kind of invest and see if I can grow it a little bit. I'm very, very grateful that I have a full-time job that pays me a fair wage, and that's what I depend on for my money. But so you know, I can kind of do this as a learning experiment and just as like an enjoyable experience, and just something that's just another way to like engage with the community and share my love for this hobby, and to get more involved and learn some new things. And you know, again, I'm just inspired by a lot of the other people I see in the cross stitch world, doing things like that. So I'm going to do that and see how it goes, and maybe I'll fall on my face. That's okay. I'm not a risk taker when it comes to money, so I will only be using the money that I've made through making bags and see how that goes. But it's a little adventure, and yeah, so just thank you guys so much for watching my video, getting this far, for all of your lovely comments here on Instagram. I really can't thank you enough. There's nothing like kind words from people, right? I'm sure we can all agree on that. It just, you know, it's lovely, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that whatever is going on in your life, that it's going well, and I appreciate you being here. So thank you so much. Until the next video. Bye.